As I stand before you, I recognize that I am indeed a universal divine vessel, made and shaped with a lightness within me that is built by my subtle ethereal body. Now, the ethereal body, one may seek to describe and to understand. But before we delve deep into this topic of the ethereal body, we may seek to define it as simple, the human existence that is so light and subtle in its form, it may seem outworldly. For example, we all have an aura. Now, what I want to focus on is simply mastering the ethereal body. Now we get to see that what makes up our physical body, we're surrounded by energetic fields. As I've prescribed before, we have our auric field. We may see that the ethereal body is part of many bodies that makes up our human form. For example, we have, our mental body, our soul, or, like auric field and so many different ones. But we will just focus on more of the mental and auric emotional trait that sort of creates a physical body to be able to continue to live and breathe and coexist in this world. Now, what do I mean by mastering the ethereal body? As I stated before, we'll focus on two of the traits that pretty much is part of our physical or spiritual field that sort of helps us to be in our human physical form. And the ethereal features and ethereal bodies that I want to focus on is our mental and emotional auric bodies that sort of, helps shape who and what we are in our physical form. So let's first start with our mental body field. We get to see that our mental mind, as I've reinforced before, usually is the reasoning logical part of our body. We often go to the brain. And it's simply a body, both conscious and unconscious. As we'll see in our brain, we have what we call a subconscious mind that can hold information throughout the eons of time. As you can see, have you had previous lifetime and now being fully awakened to memories and visions and pictures of past lives? The conscious feel in our brain that helps us see a state of reality. For example, as I look before me, I see the structure of a nice juniper tree, strong and firm. Now, this is part of my conscious reasoning, as I could see it all around me. But what about the unconscious? The unconscious form, which, is often something that's not visible. As I've stated, the ethereal body, so light and it may appear outwardly. For example, I could use a simple example as wow. The ethereal body gives us a divine connection to our higher selves. Now, you may begin to wonder, if you're not that spiritual, what in fact is your higher self? The higher self is sort of like an invisible force, an energetic field, the higher divine presence within you. That sort of like has always been with you. Some could relate it to just your soul's essence, that guides you. It can take you in your astral field, past, present, and future. It sort of is that divine internal compass, showing you who and what you are. Now, as we begin to focus on the mental intelligence, that lives within us, we begin to see, wow, we have probably held dormant for so long before awakening being conscious mind, even the subconscious mind. Who and what we are in this lifetime and what we choose to do in our recommendness. So we get to see that, wow, it's all interconnected. All our subtle bodies are connected. You see, the unconscious mind is often connected to even our emotional feeling or emotional body. And we could correlate the emotional feeling, the emotional body, to our chakra system. Now, through my own discovery, I've realized that we, in this modern day world, are focused on our seven body chakra system and energetic field. But as we continue to delve deeper into our own research, we see that the universe is filled with energetic chakra systems that go beyond the depths of the earth, the depths of this universe, multi-universes and galaxies. Like, for example, if you do your research, you see that there's chakra systems that not just connect us to the depths of the earth beneath us and to the ethereal realms that goes far, far, far beyond space and time. But I'm sure as we continue to awaken in our unconscious mind, we'll get to see that, wow, there's so many more chakra systems beyond the depths of the earth, and as I say, the multi-universe, that we will be fully awakened to. But why I want to focus on mastering our ethereal body is because for far, far, far too long, we have been living too what we perceive as just, okay, our physical body and our physical truth. Let's just take, for example, our state of health, right? And we were often told and conditioned that, oh, sickness, yes, it could be an effect of our environment and how diseases are formed. But as we begin to discover, we get to see that diseases are first developed through our own energetic field and our energetic body. Have we cleansed our energetic and emotional chakra system? As I will study, the seven body chakra system, just from our root chakra, the material root, what stabilizes us, our money, our homes, our sense of material security, or sacral chakra, everything that just, connects us to our emotional, feminine, creative essence and being able to create, as you see women being the ones who put birth a baby in our womb. That's exactly where the sacral chakra is placed. The solar plexus chakra, the willpower, confidence, and strength to move forth. Now, as I go up, I see that the free structures below is often the one that fully gives us a sense of identity and reasoning to correlate to a material world. Our root structure giving us that connection to, first of all, earth, our earth structure and the crystallized layers that lives within us to connect us to Mother Earth. Then we are rooted and grounded and stabilized. Our sacral chakra to, just help us to co-create. It's often called the water chakra, to just continue, when we learn to release all the trauma from this lifetime and that lifetime. We are so much divine creative beings. That connects us to our feminine essence. And our solar plexus chakra, the willpower to take action and to just, even to formulate a state of reasoning, I will coin it the divine masculine structure. So we get to see that just from these three lower structures, the connection. Now as we move up, the center of it all, the heart chakra, show us love and unconditional love that begins to connect us to the love within us to each other, to Mother Earth, and then to the divine source. As we go up to connect us to the multi-universe, our throat chakra that helps us to speak and to express ourselves and to communicate with each other, to release what no longer serves us. We go up to a third eye chakra, which then, as we continue to see that we are indeed cosmic beings, we get to see, from a visionary perspective that connects us to the unconscious world. Then we go, of course, to the crown chakra that connects us to the divine universe. And as we continue to go up, we could continue to see that we have what we call our soul star chakra. We have what we call the universal chakra. We have what we call the galactic chakra. We also have what we call the divine gateway chakra, and so many more as we go up. So we begin to see it's about connection of as above, so below, what's happening in the wider world. So as we continue to understand that, wow, the mental mind, as you could see, has a connection with already the conscious and the unconscious, and it's connected to emotional body, which is, like our chakra system. I already stated that there's a soul star chakra, our auric field, it's all interconnected. Now, how do we master our ethereal body? That is the big question. So as we continue on this discussion of mastering our ethereal bodies, we see that we have lived in the 3D world where we are taught to just only rely on our mental brain in order to form reasoning in this world. And as we begin to awaken to the unconscious parts of our brain and our mental body that even connects to our emotional body, we get to see that, wow, we have to learn to master these unconscious traits within us that connects us to the divine universe in order to continue to evolve. So let's say the mental mind, you're using your brain, right? And you now are being put in a state where, wow, we have often seen where we have been conditioned where, okay, let's say, based on others' perception, and as we are now being called to even let go of the attachment of how others perceive you, because people are only going through their own state of their own human experience and their own projection and their level of reasoning, that nothing that somebody could say to you holds the entire truth. The true definition of who you are is who you perceive yourself to be. So we have often been taught that, okay, let's say you're a child, right? And your parents tell you, like, wow, it's not good to, like, just leave all your toys on the floor, right? And we come into this world, as I'll delve a little bit deeper, we form wounds or ironic wounds from previous life, and we have stuff that we have to learn to overcome and grow from. And immediately, even as a toddler, so your mom and dad is now looking at you and they just remember you as a baby and saying to themselves, like, wow, all I showed this little baby girl or baby boy was love. Like, as a baby they cried, I catered to them, I tried my best, even in my own nature. Maybe as a baby too, don't show them maybe certain characteristic traits. If I'm somebody, I like to get loud and obnoxious. In their presence, I never show them that aspect of myself. Now, so they're a toddler, and we often hear the scientific reasoning as genetics. You could develop certain genetic traits of certain parents, which, in our state of discovery, we begin to see that it's far, far, far from the truth. But let's just see, you're now 16 months and your dad is like, go pick up your toys. And as a baby, little Sammy, your dad is like, go pick up your toys. And little Sammy is stamping his feet. Now, now. Now you begin to see in the mental body of the little Sammy where did it come from. Now the daddy and maybe the mom is in the room saying like, wow, little Sammy is actually responding in that way. You know, where did he get that characteristic from? Now, as I say, it could simply be that something that little Sammy came in this lifetime to learn. But we begin to see that, wow, the mental body is now in fact taking shape. That maybe the parent has said that in when the child was born, I never in the room, let's say the baby has their room, if I had an issue where I got loud and obnoxious, I never showed that. But maybe when little Sammy's mom was pregnant, Virginia, you showed certain traits like that to Virginia, and the baby's in the womb absorbing all of this. Little Sammy may have been in a lifetime where, he had to learn to be tough, and he may have been in a lifetime where, he may have been taken advantage of, and that is his way of just simply saying that, no, I'm setting my boundary from a young age. So as we begin to see that the mental body, in fact, has taken shape from birth. That little subconscious, unconscious mind begins to develop even from its own growth in the womb phase. Now, the point of shedding light on this whole is just to show that how can little Sam, as he takes shape into his lifetime, learn to master that his mental mind, to maybe not respond in that way. So little Sammy, of course, grows up, and little Sammy has his own maybe little Sam, or little senorita. Let's say he has a little girl, and of course, not only did little senorita stomp her feet, but now she's saying, how dare you, like maybe she's 3 years and she is now giving him every word. Maybe she has been looking at him and saying, oh, look at you, you're always yelling at mama. How dare you tell me, not to stomp my feet or not to answer you. Now, I'm using this example, especially from childhood, just to show you how the mental body is formed. Now, what we have to now begin to see is that we are now learning to master the mental body from within. Now, it's easy to deal with your own internal mental compass and reevaluate and restructure your thoughts and your responses. But what is it that you now have to do when it comes to, let's say you have someone who's just being belligerent and, like someone who's just like not in their highest essence and always presents themselves to you as this person who's just trying to belittle you and keep you in a certain way of living, and maybe let's say you're at school and you're 16 and what we call in this day-to-day structure a bully. Now, before we jump to the emotional body, as it in fact is always involved in everything, you begin to see that, wow, you now have a nag and a bully, and you probably say, wow, the first time the person belittles me, because I want to keep the peace, I may have not responded. The second time, they may have taken action where they maybe pushed your chair and it caused you to fall on the floor. Now, you take action where you now report it to the teacher. Now, the third time, they probably they are so inconsiderate and, such a that they pulled down your pants from the back and almost wanted to embarrass you. And you begin to say to yourself, to not be depleted into the person and the character trait that this person is trying to bring me down to their level. Now, as you continue, tell myself, man, I've always responded where, one, I've tried to, just contain myself. I've tried to keep the peace. From what I know in my day-to-day world, I reported it to maybe a teacher and they've probably warned that person, but it still continues. Now, a good way to master your body, mental body, is one, you may go within your mind. And of course, you may have to take 5 to 10 seconds to see what is the best response for this situation. You connect to your higher self, you connect to your guides, and then, of course, you have to now connect to your emotional nature, the character traits within you, as I have, discussed all, especially the sacral chakra, where we hold trauma. Now, this is, of course, beginning to be a traumatic experience. You may now have to tell yourself, you do not have to reach to the point of doing exactly what they do to maybe fighting or getting angry. You now have to let your head and your heart become one. And you come up to that person and say that person, and you look Jonathan straight in the eye, stern, and you let him know that this has been going on for far too long, Jonathan. I will in fact not tolerate this behavior from you. And if you in fact continue to do this and try to diminish yourself to such a low level egoic nature and continue to what I perceive as bullying, I will in fact take an action that you will learn that you will never ever do this again. So what action may you decide to take? Not only can you, when Jonathan, do that, you don't have to fight, but you can now, in a very strong manner, use your, maybe he comes from the back and you hold him tight and you look him straight in the eye and you let him see that this has to stop. If he continues to push you around and on a physical level he do not want to hear it, you may have to take action where you report it and give it a firm warning to the authorities to say this behavior has to stop. You make sure that you connect to your guys, but you remain in a compassionate way to let them know that this has to be balanced. And then maybe one day, not only does Jonathan has someone who either does the same thing to him, but maybe he has to learn that, wow, being that bullish person no longer serves him. It may have just been him in his own state of, like traumatic experiences, holding into something. Maybe he was beaten and punished as a young kid by his dad, and he's just taking out the anger on you. That, see to it that this has to be stopped. So this is you now taking your power. So it went to the point of no return where you had to reinforce the strong divine masculine presence of just taking that willpower in your solar plexus and the divine masculine and saying no through your own physical body strength, that you will not continue to do such a thing. And physically, just like bullying, you are connected with your emotional essence and your chakra system, where you did not let it remain in your energetic field. You connected with your higher self to say what is the best response of you. Sometimes it's often said that you just let the divine source handle it, but sometime in physical form that may not be enough. You have to begin to merge with the divine feminine and masculine within you and take the appropriate action. So, this is a simple example of learning to master the physical. Now, as I continue to shed light on this emotional essence or chakra system or senses, that we even see that in our mental body, if we have a connection with the unconscious, subtle bodies or spiritual essence. Now, the reasoning for all of this is to show you that those two important bodies in our auric field or energetic auric field is deeply connected to also one of our other bodies, and that in fact creates our physical beingness and that will continue to prescribe. So we have to learn to see that as we're letting go of our former selves in this free world, we have to learn to master the mental body, emotional body, which in turn formulates our entire existence of our physical body. Now, it's so important, as I shed light on this before, that we learn to do that, to be able to fully transmute energy and to be able to release so much of that density that has been stuck in our auric field, because that is how diseases and illnesses have been formed. As we see, diseases are in and illnesses are so rampant in our form because we have kind of held on to so much from this incarnation and so many previous lifetimes that we are being called to work from within to master these bodies. So on a day-to-day basis, continue to master your ethereal bodies. Tap into your unconscious states, your emotional state, and not just see that you always have to take the same action for every single experience that you could see does not benefit your higher essence. Continue to just work from within, and as you now know, you have divine presences and your higher self and your divine guides fully working hand in hand with you in this state of your evolution, that you could really simply and easily continue to master your ethereal bodies and your mental and emotional existence. So much love that I share with each and every one as you continue to cherish yourselves from within and embrace each moment and see it as a part of your growth and your own evolution, that this is not the end, this is just the beginning. So continue to just hold on strong and make each and every day count as you continue to just master and evolve into who you are truly here to become.